noite não vou malhar. É tudo que eu queria aproveitar. Se pular e se arranhar, se fregar eu indicar. Ai amor.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to today's exciting edition of Generation Next on your number one TV station, Orient TV channel 59, and on Star Times channel 113. My name is Esther Nmaju, and I'm your presenter as always. And today we discuss everything that has to do with the young person Generation Next. And today we're discussing something very important in the life of young people. This is something everybody does as a young person. We're discussing materialism. The English is sounding quite big. We're discussing trying to keep up with trends, keeping up with things that are in vogue. And I have two wonderful young guys in the studio today to do justice to this topic. As is my tradition, I allow them to do the introduction themselves. So let me start with the gentleman on my side. Hello, welcome to Generation Next.
Thank you very much.
How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Okay, so can we get to know you?
My name's Sibigam David Akachuku. I'm the president of Teens Worship Center. It's a religious-based organization for teenagers where we just come to, harness their gifts and,
Okay, so you deal a lot with young people?
Yeah, a lot of young people.
Okay, let me introduce my other guest before we now fly into the question. I have another wonderful guest in the studio today. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, dear.
So, can we get to know you?
My name is Onyeulo, Ifeanyi. I'm an administrator and also a journalist with newscorner.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you also have influences of young people too?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me get to the teenager guy. You're not a teenager actually.
No, I'm not a teenager.
Okay, so when we say materialism, what comes to your mind? Or keeping up with things in vogue?
Okay, materialism, keeping on with things in vogue. Materialism is, I see materialism as a constant desire for things, material things, possession, wealth, and that's what I see, a constant desire. And most times it's, or will I say, it's negative.
Okay, a negative, constant desire for things in vogue.
Yes, depending on where you're coming from, but with regards to what we are looking at, it's negative because it leads them to a lot of things that, especially the youth, it leads youth to a lot of things that that a lot of negative actions, negative vices, and all that.
Okay, then we'll get back to you. Okay. Now to this other guy, Mr. Ifeanyi.
Yes.
When you hear the word materialism or trying to keep up with things in vogue, what comes to your mind?
Materialism for me is a dominating desire for one to maybe possess some vital thing as regards to materialism itself, in the sense that one, out of greed, want to acquire or want to be in a state of comfort. That's
okay, but do you think this is a major problem with young people these days?
Of course, yes, it's a major problem, because today in our world we are seeing some kind of different things. The society is turning into nuisance. This as a result of materialism, because so many youth are engaging in so many fraudulent crime in order to make ends meet. And this is a perception of what we are saying today, which is materialism.
Okay, what do you think causes this? Why are people actually finding their way, trying to amass some kind of wealth to get some kind of thing? What's causing it?
One is, for me, is not being content with what you have, not being content. Two is greed. The greed here, it means one, trying to acquire something you can't afford to acquire. In the sense that, let me take for example, in the government, someone who is a governor, you expect him that after being a governor, he has a mansion for himself. You also see a civil servant who is trying out of greed. You want to use other way, use corruption, use any means.
But
to
we're
make
dealing with young people here. Let's
Yeah,
leave government
yeah,
and
yeah,
their
yeah.
matter. For a young person now, what do you think is actually leading them, luring them? Because everybody's trying to keep up with some kind of
Yeah, even the young people, for example, like as I am, not being content, let me come back to that, not being content as it is, as I'm a young person, and I see so many young persons like me who are out there, they are making money through fraudulent crimes and all of that. So for me, greed would want to make me to join them. You get me? And all these things is you are trying to drive into getting comfort, trying to be in a state of comfort, knowing that you cannot be there. But greed and that sense of materialism coming into you, you are trying to go beyond what you ought to,
just to acquire
to acquire that.
Okay, Mr. Sibigam, is it necessary to acquire some kind of things to follow? Back in the day, I don't want to mention brand because that's not our job here. There's a brand of phone that came out while we were in school, and I know some of my classmates that did abortion because of that brand of phone. And now, that one has gone. You understand?
Yeah.
And again, now every day things keep coming up, and when it comes up, people just go mad. Like, they're just like... So, is it necessary to acquire all these things?
Okay, it also brings us back to what leads people to, I've come to... with what I do,
Yes.
I work with a lot of young people, and then by the time they begin to tell you their story, you discover that what the perception had about them, somehow would change because of that, I've learned not to judge people, judge a book by its cover. That doesn't make some things right. What am I trying to say? A lot of young people become materialistic due to pressure. I was with some young people, that was 2 weeks ago, and then somehow something led to something, and then we began to talk about pressure, and I began to tell them that, peer pressure is real, and most of them did not agree with me, but, unconsciously, consciously, unconsciously, peer pressure, not just amongst the youths now, amongst everybody, life generally. Some people might feel they've outgrown pressure and all that, but when the pressures of life hits you, you may see yourself doing things that you didn't think you would do on a normal day. A lot of young people, they have friends. For instance, I was somewhere in one hotel where one day I went with my brother. We had to meet a tailor there, and then I saw a young boy. I've actually reached out to this boy over time. This guy is about 17. I saw him in that hotel. He was high on weed, was drinking alcohol. He's about 7. He's not 18. I'm sure of that. And he has a car.
Are you serious?
And he has a car, and he's not working. He hasn't even written jam. He's not working, and I know his parents are not that buoyant to, afford that kind of luxury. But when you go close to him, you discover that something led to something. He saw friends. He saw people who were living big and getting away with it. He saw people, by the time you move around the world, you see different, kinds of cars, and you will attest the fact that you've seen people, people you felt you were better than, probably in secondary school and all that, but you see them now, and then you discover that they are living well, they are living large. Probably, I'm not saying, we're not living well.
I understand.
But you're not living
at their pace.
At that level, exactly. So it could push you into doing what, you don't want to do. So is it necessary? Youths, we have to start building, platforms where we gather youths and we begin to talk to them. Because we can't just say, okay, it's not necessary. How many people know that it's not necessary? Because when pressure hits you, you lose every sense of reasoning that you have. So we must build platforms where we come together, talk to youths, and tell them, the negative effects of such actions, of such things. So is it necessary? No, it's not necessary actually, because beyond the things that we see, beyond the outward pursuit and the pomp and pageantry of the society, inward beauty, what you carry in the inside of you as a young person, is what will distinguish you.
And that's what most of them don't know.
Yes, exactly. So they don't really, we've not instilled it in them to build.
You're instilling it now to them, so continue your installation.
Okay.
Installation.
We need to put it in them and make them understand that there's something in the inside of them that just is just like the story we have in the Bible of the guy who told his brother to give him a morsel of porridge for his birthright. You understand? For instant pleasure, you sell something that should last for a long time for instant pleasure. So we must learn to build it in them, that there's something in you, there's something that your generation, that you're supposed to offer to your generation. Once we have that in mind, we'll begin to work hard. It will drive in hard work into them. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So that's basically, I don't think it's necessary to.
Okay. So let me get to this guy. If a young person that is watching us right now is into this, like the young person is actually surrounded by people that are having these things that are in vogue, like the latest cars, you're carrying the latest phone, you're wearing the latest wig for the girls and all that, and the shoes and the bags, and then they're watching us right now. So for a young person that is surrounded, Mr. Sibigam said pressure, they're surrounded by this pressure, what should they do?
For me, if you are surrounded with this pressure, like what my colleague said here, that pressure plays a very vital role. For one who is surrounded with such pressure, and the life you are living doesn't worth it, the society doesn't need it. As a matter of fact, it's a negative impact you are giving to the society. Because, for example, if you are a youth and you engage yourself in fraudulent crimes, and the name of Nigeria is being spoken outside, like this guy that is doing this thing is from Nigeria, you are spoiling the image of the country, and as well you are denting the image of the people in Nigeria. So what I think that should be done is, for this, I just want to quote the Bible, said good name is better than riches. Whatever you have is not going to last forever. So for me, if you are in such a situation, I think the best thing for you to do is just make a decision in your heart and try get away from those people. Getting away it won't be easy. It won't be easy. You have to consult people that matters, people that you believe that can rehabilitate. It comes to you the person that has known that, yes, I've done this thing in the society, is hurting me. You have to recognize those people that can help you to bring you back to rehabilitate you back to the society. So this is what they should do.
Okay. Let me get back to Mr. Sibigam, because you deal a lot with young people. I like getting people that deal with them, because that's where the solution comes from. Now, when we're discussing materialism, Christmas is about coming. And some people want to buy one particular car. I don't want to mention the name, because that's not what we're doing here. So now, as a young person, we have noticed, or it's generally noticed, that most times, some parents just keep quiet about this whole thing. You understand? Like, you said you saw a 17-year-old boy that drives a car. I don't know where he got the car from. But we've noticed that some parents keep quiet. And before, at least people around helping, instilling some kind of discipline in the lives of young people. So now that the Christmas is coming, and some of them have already acquired, and some watching me are already making their plans to go and acquire their own. Now, for a young person there, now, who nobody is talking to, you understand? What do you think the society, the other young person listening to us, can do to this other person to bring them back to the right track?
I wouldn't want to sound very religious here, but I'll say there's how to bring these people back. Like I said, I always tell young people, For instance, when we talk about things like pornography and them,
Mm.
I always tell them it's better not to start. It's better not to start because when we start,
Mm-hmm.
when you start, getting into some of these things that has a way of getting you addicted to them, it's more difficult to it's very difficult to break out of these addictions. So I always advise them, don't get into.
Wait, are trends addictive? Is it addictive or to also try to keep it up?
No, I'm trying to bring this topic
Okay.
into addiction now.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't say it's addictive, but you can get carried away. When you start living a certain kind of lifestyle, and you want to make a U-turn, there are a lot of things you consider. For instance, someone who had a car, and then you say, okay, now I want to turn a new leaf. Probably I got that car through duping other people, and I want to turn a new leaf. What do I do to the car? Do I sell back the car and give it to charity, or do I give it to the church? Or okay, for instance, if I do this now, would I go back to trekking?
And jumping keke and bus.
People who used to know me as a big boy. I don't know if you understand.
Yes, we're flowing.
You're stuck.
Yes.
So I always advise them not to start. Then for those who are, for if I have people around me, who are
doing this,
who are very materialistic, who want the fine things of life, and
in fact, can we just nail it? Let's talk about those who are into cybercrime, because I think that's where everything is.
Yeah, that's the major.
That's the major thing.
Yeah,
so let's deal with them. That's what we came here
so
to do.
Those into cybercrime, like you've mentioned, if I had people around me who were into it, what would I do to bring them out? Is to begin to share good values, begin to model good values, and instill in them. Like I said, I don't want to sound religious. I beg your pardon, but this is just this is what I would do. Is to instill the word of God in them. Because that's the only thing that has the capacity to change a man totally, to transform a man totally. And I think that's basically what.
Okay. There's something you said. You said you gave an analysis that I liked. You talked about somebody that started and you stopped. Does it mean that if you started and you stopped, like you've already started driving the car, you can go back to your keke? After all, is that not what you were doing before?
You can. But I want us to be realistic now.
No, so I'm trying. That's here. Wait, let me get to you. I don't like doing the program where we just talk. I don't like feeling good. I like practical solutions to problems. And now the problem right now facing all these young people, most of them, is that they're already in this thing. That's what they do.
So coming out.
So does it mean that there's no solution? They can't go back to normal.
You can. That's where discipline and decision comes in. Everyone has the power of choice. God created everyone, with the power of choice. You can choose to stand up. You can choose to sit. You can choose to walk. You can choose to run. You can choose to crawl. You can choose to go to school. You can choose not to go to school. Understand? Everyone has that power to make a choice. But for these ones now who are into this and want to come out, this is it. You must make a choice. No matter the backlash, no matter the how low you may get to.
Yeah.
You understand? You must learn that, because if we understand life, we understand that life is in three phases. I was talking to some young people 2 Saturdays ago, and I was telling them that life is in 3 phases, just like a pregnant woman. There's a time of conception where you receive. There's that period of receiving may not take up to 9 months. Receiving may not take up to 9 months. It could just happen within 9 minutes. But the process is longer.
Yes.
The time, the process, and within that process comes a lot of displeasure, discomfort. So we must begin to teach process. So if you want to come out of this, you must understand that you must go through the process. The process may not be nice, it may not be okay.
But you have to go through.
Every human being goes through that process. So these people now, the problem is that they don't want to go through the process. They want to move from conceiving to delivery.
Okay,
So that process, so they must understand that you must go through this process.
Okay, so let me get to
Yeah.
this guy. I think I'm enjoying myself today. Okay, so let me get to Mr.
Yeah.
Ifeanyi. We're talking about those who are stopped.
Yeah.
Now, for the guys, it's cybercrime.
Mm.
And for the girls, for the ladies,
Mm.
I think it's prostitution.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because, there's a fine way for call it runs.
Mm.
Where are you running to? So let's okay, so let's get to you too. For a young girl now, a young lady listening to us who is also stuck. We're talking about those who are inside now because people are there.
Yeah.
Now, so
Definitely.
those who are not stuck as a young girl, as a young lady, anyway, you're not a lady, but
Yeah.
it's not a problem. And for a young guy, so what should they do? How can they get out of that phase?
Well, so far in my dealings with young people, I've come to understand that there are some things you get into and you want to get out of it. It's not easy. Most of them never wish to be in that situation. Most of them, they don't even if they are earning money from it, they don't like the situation they are in. Some of them has made the choice over time that they want to come out of it. But if that feeling of coming out from it is not coming from the heart, it will be hard for one to make a decision, and that decision is not coming out from the heart. That decision cannot see the light of day. So if you have made that decision, or you are in there and you know you want to come out, there are so many factors responsible, and there are so many processes, like my guy said, that are responsible for you coming out. Maybe you have made a decision. True, one cannot sound too religious, but it's up to God.
It's only God that can
It's
actually.
up to, for me, it's up to God.
To give
After
them
you've
out.
gotten the decision, after you've made that decision in your heart, it's up to God for you to come out. And I just make this little solution by me. I think it's just up to God and up to you from your heart. God listens to your heart and listens to your prayer. Definitely you will come out.
Okay. I think there are two things. This one said process. Actually, he said God. I also said it's up to God and the decision from your heart. Now, one last thing before we go to the Vox Pop segment of this program. The ripple effect on the next. You see, we have to be very careful as young people. We're seriously, last week we did something on baby mama trend, and everybody was supporting it. Hey, if abortion, go with it. I think we are losing it gradually.
Definitely.
Now, this program is Generation Next. There's a next generation coming after us. What do you think, if we don't handle this thing, what do you think will be the ripple effect on the next generation coming?
Okay.
And what can we do to salvage it? Because we're talking about the solution.
Okay, I think what brought us where we are today is what has been modeled. What has been modeled. For instance, before, abortion it wasn't a topic to discuss
So,
because it wasn't even happening. If it was happening, it would be 1 out of 200. That kind of ratio. I think for the next generation, you're trying to say
The ripple effect
the
and how
ripple
we'll
effect,
salvage
beautiful.
it, yes.
A lot of things that we see today is because of what is being modeled. For instance, cars and wine, houses, and all that. When you look at some of these celebrities that we flash on the TV, this is when you watch a music video now, for instance, you see the beautiful cars, fine girls and all that. And this is what is being fed. This is what is being fed. It's just like a commercial, a commercial advert. When a product is advertised on TV, suddenly you begin to have a craving for it. That's why they advertise. Some companies who are multi-billion, companies in the world who do not even need adverts. They keep advertising. Why? So they keep putting it in your face, so that you keep having the craving for it. So
there's a name for it in me. They call it subliminary advertisement. That it goes to your subconscious.
Beautiful. Thank you. At least I'm not wrong.
No, you're not.
At least So they keep putting it. They keep pumping it. The clothes, the houses, the cars, the women, and all that. By the time they keep pumping it, so we keep sucking it in. It keeps entering our system, and we begin to desire those kind of things. So we must be careful of what we model, because as we are walking on the road now, I went one day we were having what they call it now, independence celebration in the stadium some years back, and I went, during those days, I just like to walk around and talk with young people and interact with them, and see how I can inspire them to become better people. And I met a young man. He was probably in jail too, and I asked him, what's what do you want to do? What do you want to do after you write your junior WAEC? What do you want to do? He told me that after junior WAEC, he wants to get into cybercrime.
Are you serious?
Definitely.
Because of what has been modeled.
Okay, we're running out of time. Sorry. Okay. So please, how can we salvage? How can we help our next phase? Since I don't know how we enter.
Let's model what is right.
Okay, let's model
what is right.
Okay, now to you. How can we salvage the next generation? Being that I don't know what we're doing to ourselves, but we'll come out in Jesus' name.
Amen.
So how can we model? How can we salvage the next generation?
I think we have to create a platform.
We've created one.
We've created one.
Okay, like other platforms.
Other platforms, like whereby we get to talk to young people. If it's on weekly basis, we get to instinct those ideas. We get to talk to them concerning those things they are doing, and this is a very vital issue because so many people are engaging in it, and the family has to play a vital role.
Yes,
the family has to play a vital role. God did not call Adam to be a professor. If he wanted to call Adam, maybe the world would have turned to a kind of educational something or whatever. But so God called Adam and Eve to create a family. So it starts from the family. Some family are enjoying it because their son bringing millions. You can see a father that has been suffering or toiling all his life, and at the end of the day has gotten nothing. And you see a son just at the peak of just getting a laptop, pressing some certain things in the net. He acquired a lot of money. And the dad will embrace, the mom, everybody will embrace. So the family, we have to talk to the family, we have to reach out to the family to talk to them concerning the issues on ground, because at the long run, it doesn't matter the money, it matters the life. That individual that is making that money might end up being, with the pressure and all of that, end up being in a group whereby he's being influenced by some other hard drugs.
They lose their life through that process.
They lose their lives and all of that.
Oh my God, I really enjoyed today's episode. Okay, and that's how we're doing it on this discussion segment. Before we go, I want to thank you sincerely for coming. I enjoyed myself, and you too for coming. That's it on the discussion segment. After the break, the Vox Pop segment, where we ask people whether it is necessary to keep up with what is in trend, comes up. So stay tuned.
I'm Jachima Nancy. Well, I'll say no. But come to think about it, it's interesting keeping up with the trends in the society. I mean, you look fashionable and acceptable among your peers. But the thing there is that if you don't have the resources to keep up with the trend, I mean, it's better you just back off instead of doing nasty things that might even ruin your life.
Okay, thank you. My sincere opinion is that it's not actually necessary for you to keep up with what is in vogue, but if you have the resources, if you have the capacity to do so, fine. It all depends on one's choice. But I think it's not actually necessary because it's going to serve as something like an incentive towards crime, you understand? Because some of the youth, their parents don't have the ability to give them the needed funds for them to keep up with this so-called fashion and trends in the society. So they end up going into crimes to source out means to go to keep up with the trends in the society. So I think it's not actually necessary, because when actually you see your friends dressing in a flashy manner, keeping up with the recent trends, and you're not able to meet up with the standard, you want to go into crime or any other thing to source out the means to do so. So I think it's not actually necessary.
This is Eberechukwu Anastasia from Federal University of Benin State. My answer to that question is no, because I don't really think it is needful or necessary. It is not a relevant thing for the young ones to keep up to things that are happening or things that are in vogue. Because you find out that they go out of their way, they try to do so many nasty things just to belong to the ruling class. And in such cases, it deprives them of so many things. Like people in the campus, they forget that they are here to study. They are here to do some important things to secure their future. But because it is now something that is competitive, everybody wants to be in the ruling class. Everybody wants to be sharp. Everybody wants to look good. You see our young ones going out of their way to do so many nasty things just to belong. So to me, I don't think it is necessary. I just think it is a matter of being self-contented with what you have, and also having the self-control to tell yourself, I deserve this, or I don't want to go for this or that. In such way, our youth will be cautioned. If they have that self-contentment, they will be like, yes, I don't even need this to be who I want to be.
Is a Christian, and I'm studying at Emeko High School, nowhere now. Well, my opinion, I don't really think it's necessary, because many of these things can lead to so many social vices. Like so many of the students in temples, they do run in like prostitution. So many girls, they do run into men just to get money to buy the trending thing in book. But I don't think it's necessary, because many students, they do collect money from their parents to buy the raining things. Like when Gucci was raining, I know of my classmates, many of them do collect money from their parents to buy Gucci or whatever. So these things can lead to social vices, and it will lead to discouragement of why they're in school, or their purpose or their end in school. So these things are not really necessary.
My name is Ngoma Uchenna. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think they should keep up with it, because why should we go for something that will last for just a very short period of time? Just go for what you are good at, and then leave all these things that won't last.
I'm just
Okay, viewers, I hope you enjoyed the Vox Pop segment. And from all the respondents they were saying it is not necessary to keep up with what is in trend. That's what they're saying. Okay, and that is moving us straight into the social media segment of today's edition of Generation Next. So let me go straight ahead and start reading their chats to you. The first one I have here is from Mercy. Mercy's commenting from Port Harcourt. And Mercy said, sometimes it's necessary to keep up with what is in vogue. You can't just be living in 19th century when you're in 21st. That's Mercy's opinion. The second one I have here is from Ikechukwu, and Ikechukwu is commenting from Owerri. Ikechukwu said, it's not necessary to keep up with what is in vogue, because these things are time-based, according to him. He said, what is raining today won't rain tomorrow. Remember those days, the cars that were raining. That's not what's raining today. So young people should be mindful of what they are rushing into. That's Ikechukwu's opinion. I think I buy into that too. The third one I have here is from Cynthia Madweke. Cynthia Madweke is also commenting from Owerri too. Cynthia said, it is not necessary to keep up with what is in vogue, but it is not also good to try being outdated. Stop living in 19th century life in 21st century, and stop using a 21st century sense to commit crime. I think I like that. Now the fourth person is Oko Mary. Oko Mary is commenting from Lagos, and Oko Mary said, it is also not necessary to keep up with what is in vogue. Don't risk your life at things that will pass out with time. And I think I buy that. Then the last one I have here is from Cynthia Okore. Cynthia Okore is commenting from Owerri. Cynthia Okore said, it is not necessary to keep up with what is in vogue, but please try to stay abreast with things happening now. Don't live an old-fashioned life when things are moving fast, but don't take it as an opportunity to commit crime. And that's, I'm using that to end today's edition of the chat segment. But before I go, I think I buy what people are saying. It is not really necessary, because this thing come to pass. Remember the phones that were running in 2010. Remember the cars running in 2014. The ones running in 2015. So if this thing passed by, young person listening to me, what is the thing now? Why are you finding yourself falling into that? It's not necessary. Be contented with what you have, and whatever height you want to get to, you will get. Those cars you will ride, just be patient. And with that, I'm rounding off today's edition of Generation Next, and I bet you had a wonderful time today, myself, and I know you did. And that's it on today's episode of Generation Next program. My name is Esther Nmaju, and I'm thanking you on behalf of all the people who work so hard to ensure that we have a wonderful time today on TV. See you same time, same station next week with another juicy topic. See you till then. Bye.